I don't think there should be an ally flag. So if you clicked onto this video hoping I would say that so that you could get pissed off and then leave angry comments about it and dislike this video, there you go, I said it. So you guys go ahead and do that and I'll continue on with the video. Me, personally, in my opinion, I don't think allies of the LGBT community need a flag. And while this is a semi-nuanced conversation, I don't think it actually is a terribly nuanced conversation. There's definitely other things in the world right now that need way more delicate conversations. But this is Pride Month and I want to talk about Pride stuff, and this is something I've been thinking about for a long time. If you didn't even know there was a flag for allies, well, there is one. It's kind of a combination of the queer flag and the straight flag in the shape of an arrow, I guess to look like an A. And I don't think it needs to exist. I already said this earlier, but I do want to reiterate, this is just my opinion, and there is some nuance to this conversation. I don't represent every gay person ever, every non-binary person ever. It's not like I'm the sole mouthpiece for the whole community. This is just kind of my opinion of what I feel like, and I'm going to explain to you why I feel like the ally flag is kind of homophobic. And I want to put this out in the beginning. If you have used the ally flag in the past, I don't think that means you are a homophobic person. I think that means you might have some like underlying homophobic thoughts that, you know, our culture has probably helped instill into you that you just haven't gotten quite over yet. I don't think it's on purpose. I don't think people who use this flag or have used this flag in the past are using it in a homophobic way. It's for allies. People are using it in a way to try and show their allyship. But I unfortunately think that it's kind of doing the opposite. There's not even like really a lot of research or well-known facts about how this flag even came to be. Some people say the author is completely unknown. Some say it was actually a queer Australian group that designed this flag. Even if it's true that queer people came up with this flag, I don't like it. I think it goes hand in hand with the conversation about what the A in LGBTQIA stands for. It stands for asexual. The A in LGBTQIA does not stand for ally. It does not stand for ally. It does not stand for ally. I have seen time and time and time again people saying, not even just people, organizations saying that the A stands for ally. The A does not stand for ally. The A can stand for asexual, aromantic, agender. It doesn't have to be anything specific, but it does have to be somebody that's actually in the community. And allies are not actually in the community. I think you guys forgot what ally means. And when I say you guys, I don't mean all allies. I mean the people who are like, the A stands for me. I'm in this too. No, ally means you're specifically not a part of the community. If you're part of the community, you're part of the community, and then you don't need to be an ally. You just are that community. The A stands for asexual, agender, aromantic, anything on the ace spectrum, and they already get so looked over and so pushed to the side that it really irks me, really grinds my gears that people come in there and then try and take them out of the acronym also. The A does not stand for ally. It doesn't make any sense that it would. I have seen in supposed safe spaces, supposed places for allies and queer people to come together, them doing this, them taking the A and saying, that's for us, that's ally. And it's just not true. I will go seek out resources for queer people, and on their like little fast facts sheet that they have like on their front homepage, they're like, we're the lesbian, gay, bi, trans, and allies. And it's like, no, you're not. Like, oh my god. So that by itself already drives me crazy. You are not the A in LGBTQIA. That's just not how it works. You are an ally. Good. Amazing. You're already doing the Lord's work. When you put yourself in the acronym like that, first of all, you're taking away the asexual representation. You're also making it confusing for people about whether or not you're in the community or not. And in my opinion, once again, you're kind of putting yourself before or taking up space for the people you're trying to be allies with. So you guys can tell how I feel about that, and it so very closely mirrors how I feel about this flag. I feel like it's taking up unnecessary space that you do not need. Again, to reiterate, I don't really feel like you need it. Why do you need a flag that specifically says, yeah, I'm okay with them, but I'm not them? Like, doesn't that feel kind of homophobic to you? Like, again, I'm not saying anybody who uses this flag is homophobic, like outwardly and aggressively, because obviously they're trying really hard to be an ally. But just because you want to be an ally and just because you're trying doesn't mean you're gonna get it right 100% of the time. For a separate video, I'm trying to work on making an iceberg of the LGBTQ terms, just kind of like as a fun palate cleanser meme thing. And I do just want want to read you the definition that the LGBTQ wiki, what they define as an ally, because again, I was making this iceberg and it is exactly what I'm trying to say, but in way better words. An ally is someone who supports the community, again, you're trying your best, I see you, and advocates for them even without your stake in the cause. Again, you're not technically a part of the community, but you want to help us out. You're there to support us and to be an advocate for us. We're doing good so far. Yes. I do believe that if you're trying to use this flag, that is what you're trying to do. Here's the second half of this. This is not an identity. This is an ongoing process that requires your action and continuous learning. And that's where I feel like we're running into issues. Just because you're using the flag doesn't mean you're a homophobic person. I do want to say though, if you feel the need so desperately to distance yourself from the people you're trying to help, is that not a little bit counterintuitive? Having a flag that so specifically says, don't count me as one of them, it's reading homophobia. And I don't mean that in the hateful term, right? There's homophobia that people think about, very hateful, vitriolic, angry, and violent. That definitely exists, and that's obviously not the people who would want to use a flag like this that represents allyship. It feels homophobic in the sense of you're afraid of being confused for a gay person. And this is, again, coming back to the whole, it's a cultural thing. It's something you have to unlearn that's deeply rooted within the society that, especially in America, just exists around us. Like, I feel very similarly about people who are like, when they get asked if they're gay or anything, they're like, no, of course not. Not that there's anything wrong with that. Like, that also reads as homophobic. Again, it's not the same thing as like vitriolic hate crimes and murder and violence, but it is still just like this culture and air of, no, they're the weird ones. I'm not them. I promise I'm not like them. Even though you are not doing the act of violence yourself, and even if you are trying so hard and you go to pride events or help with pride events or help with things, maybe you're part of a straight gay alliance, it's still just this like deep rooted feeling of homophobia that just surrounds us in everyday life. The fact that the ally flag exists at all is homophobic in the sense of it's trying so hard to still give off that vibe of being gay is scary. Being confused for a gay person is a bad thing. Something else that I want to mention is it does use the colors for the straight pride flag, and the straight pride flag is blatantly homophobic. The straight pride flag mostly exists in order to try their hardest to oppose gay people and their pride flags. So the fact that it incorporates the straight flag into itself is already kind of like really distasteful in my opinion. But the people who designed it, I see where they were coming from. They are straight cis-het people, so they want to use that flag because that's what that means, and then add in the rainbow to it in the shape of an A. Like, again, I get it, I get the graphic design going on here, but using a hateful symbol, the straight pride flag is most often, as I've seen online, used as a hateful symbol. To use a hateful symbol and to just put a rainbow on it, it just doesn't feel very good when you see it. And I do think there is a solution to this problem, and I don't think you're gonna like it. Just fly the gay flag. I'm gonna be so real with you. If you have a rainbow flag, that does not mean you're gay. Like, let's walk it back to what I was saying about how just the homophobic culture of so desperately not wanting to be confused as a gay person. As an ally, you are actively fighting societal homophobia by saying it's fine if I'm confused as a gay person. I find that so much more honorable, honestly. You are so self-assured in yourself, in your identity as a straight person or a cis-het person, that you don't mind being confused as a gay person. You know yourself well enough to know, well, that's just not true. I'm a supporter. Like, I want them to be safe. I'm here to help. And a rainbow flag is always going to be more inviting and more indicative of somebody safe than an ally pride flag is ever going to be. If you are afraid to just fly a rainbow flag, then maybe you have some things to look at in yourself. Why are you so afraid of somebody confusing you for a gay person? The homophobic culture has easily gripped so many people that I'm not like surprised that this feeling exists in people. In the fucking 80s, gay was an insult. People still use it as an insult today. Like, hate crimes exist. Like, I'm not saying it's safe to be a gay person. What I'm saying is you can help gay people feel more safe by not othering them, by making it feel like they're just normal people just existing. The ally flag is a separation and a purposeful one. Just flying a rainbow flag is going to do so much more to help gay people. It's going to be such a clearer example of you willing to be there to help people. I can really only speak for American culture because that's where I live, but just generally speaking, the culture and society around the world, and especially in America right now, is very much that gay people are the other, they're wrong, they're not normal people, and you can actively combat that as an ally by not separating yourselves out so specifically like that, by not having this flag that says, don't you dare confuse me as one of them. It's giving mixed signals. You're gonna do way more for the community just flying a rainbow flag. And if people are questioning you about your sexuality, who gives a shit? It's who you are, not who they think you are. And if you've got problems with that, talk to a therapist, honestly. Those are internal issues, again, mostly put on to us by the society and culture, but that's something within yourself that needs to be unraveled, right? That's not the community's fault. That has nothing to do with us. Like, I don't knock anybody for using the flag. Obviously, the definition I read out earlier, being an ally is a learning, continuous growing experience. The community is constantly changing and evolving and learning. I made a few jokes in my flag video about how there's always a new label coming out, but that's for a reason. Like, it's not like these things happen willy-nilly. And I do believe people who fly this flag are trying to be allies, are trying to be helpful. And if you want my honest to God opinion, flying the flag is doing the opposite of being helpful, and trying to say the A in the acronym stands for ally is, again, just doing the opposite of being helpful, vehemently denying and refusing, and just being so insecure in yourself that you have to distance yourself from gay people is also harming the community. I do not think anybody's doing these things on purpose. Again, if you're flying the ally flag, you're obviously trying, right? And that's better than most people. I just think this is not the answer. In my own personal opinion, fly a rainbow flag. If anybody's gonna sit there and be a dick about it, imagine what actual queer people deal with all the fucking time. Stop saying the A stands for ally, it doesn't. If you want bonus points, go ahead and research what identities and sexualities do start with A. Asexual, aromantic, and agender are some great jumping off points, but there are more. You can do that with other things too, like the Q in LGBTQIA can stand for questioning or queer. Like, we got options. We got a lot of vocab running around. Again, being an ally is continuously learning and growing. There are communities that I'm not a part of that I'm an ally for that I have to do the same thing, continuously learn and grow and improve. I can give my opinions about this specifically because I am part of the LGBTQ community, but for other communities that I'm an ally for, I can't tell them what to do. I can't tell them how they feel about me being an ally. All I can do is listen and learn. And that's just kind of what I'm offering here, a queer person's perspective and what I think would make you a better ally. And just, again, some anecdotal experience, not necessarily research, and still all opinion-based. I've seen way more queer people dislike the ally flag than like it. Again, purely anecdotal, and what I've seen around the internet, it's mostly just straight people who really, really want the ally flag. And again, maybe take a minute and sit with that and feel like, why do I so desperately want a flag like this community? Why do I want so desperately to take up that kind of space? Very literally, if you have a flag, that's taking up space. But I refuse to be confused at all possible. I want to distance myself with them as much as I can. You know, maybe sit with that uncomfortable feeling and think about it for a little bit. Self-reflection is gonna be the best way to start growth. And if you really are trying to strive to be a good ally, maybe start with that. That's something really easy to do, just some internal reflection. Maybe you had these feelings and didn't even realize it was kind of homophobic. One last grammar lesson before we go. This is just more a pet peeve of mine that I see online. The word internalized homophobia does not work for straight people. Internalized means it's inside the community. When people say internalized homophobia, that means homophobia within a person of that community, right? So it would be like a gay person who really hates the fact that they're gay, or a gay man who really hates lesbians, like that kind of thing. It's not about straight people feeling really deep-rooted in inner homophobia. That's not the same thing. That's just homophobia. Sorry. You can work on it. You don't have to stay that way. Like, these things don't have to stay there forever. Working on it is the best way to be an ally, to work on yourself and get rid of this. But the word specifically internalized homophobia is for somebody who is in the community. I saw this a lot with people like Blair White. She has internalized transphobia and internalized homophobia because she's part of the community. Although I think she's technically straight, so I think it would just be homophobia. Because she is a trans woman and she also kind of hates trans people, that is internalized transphobia, right? That's already within her. Fucking Ben Shapiro, who is not a trans person, is just transphobic. I hope that makes sense. The only reason I bring that up is because I see a lot of straight people saying they have internalized homophobia when they're really just talking about more like unexpected, or I don't know what the word I'm looking for is, but like they have homophobic tendencies that they didn't even think about. Again, if you're trying to be an ally, I'm not saying you're out there being like a super violent bigot, but just the world around us constantly pushing that pressure into your head. Just being alive and acting in the world today sometimes is homophobic, and that's just the sad reality. Sometimes you have to actively push yourself away from social norms because the social norm is homophobic. But anyways, that's enough of my rant for today. If you want my opinion on straight people at Pride, it doesn't bother me unless they specifically say please no straight people, but take my opinion with the biggest grain of salt because I've never been to Pride because I came out during the pandemic, and I also don't live in a safe state. So that's gonna be it from me in this video. Sorry for lecturing you all. If any allies have stuck around to the end, thank you for sitting and listening to me. I hope you don't feel like really attacked. I am just really sick of seeing it all over the place. Especially asexual people get so little representation, and then allies are trying their best. Like they have a good heart, but they're coming in and just smashing them out even more. But anyways, that's actually it this time. That's the end. Thank you allies for sticking around to the end. Gay people, if you disagree with me, like I'm not holding that against you. Like I said, these are just my personal opinions. I think the ally flag shouldn't exist at all. Just put up a gay flag. Just put up a pride flag. I hope you all are having a wonderful Pride. I hope you all are safe, and I hope to see you all in the next one. Bye.